This week on Coffin Fodder, our Overlook Spectacular concludes with Mike Flanagan's fantastic Shining sequel, Doctor Sleep.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
I like to dissect girls.
This is God.
We have such sights to show you.
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
I see dead red.
Even in hell.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no tears, please.
Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Coffin Fodder. I am your host, Mike Warby, and this week we continue the Overlook Spectacular with Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. And of course, I am joined by a man who was eating kids long before it was cool, Mr. Colin Nippleburn.
Oh, fuck yeah.
On the other side of him, you got a guy with many secret mind boxes that you definitely do not want to open.
No.
Mr. Brady Silger.
What's up, Doc?
And yes, we are indeed talking Doctor Sleep from 2019. Mike Flanagan's Doctor Sleep, no less.
Yeah.
First time with a Flan.
First time with the Flan.
It's a Flan again. I'm a big Flan fan over here, I'll tell you that much.
I'm also a Flan fan from his TV shows. Yeah. He fucking nailed it with this movie, though. So was this his first outing as a film director?
It could be his third major one.
Okay.
He had Hush. No, fourth. He had Hush before this for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oculus he had before this.
Really?
Yeah, he did Oculus. He also did Gerald's Game, of course.
Yeah.
Previous DOJ adaptation.
Right.
And then this. He may have had other smaller stuff before that, but...
So, I'm a fan of the guy, but mostly from his Netflix stuff. However, I've seen Oculus, and it's such a good fucking movie. I had no idea that was Mike Flanagan. I really like that movie.
I like Hush better. I think Hush is definitely worthwhile.
Not that it's pertinent to this, but Hush is it a girl?
The deaf girl.
She's mute. Yeah.
And she can't hear.
And if I think she's mute
And it's
too.
Katie, yeah. And it's Katie Siegel or whatever, the girl
That's right.
who's in almost all of his
Stuff. Yeah, okay. So that movie was also very good. So that doesn't surprise me. The guy's got some chops then.
Did he do The Haunting of Hill Manor as well?
Yeah, Hill House, Bly Manor, One Night Mass,
Yeah.
Midnight Club.
That's right.
That was the one that was like fine, but
It was good.
I just didn't connect with it on the same level as everything else.
No, not even close. Yeah, that guy's... It makes so much sense when you look at how solid his works are, that he was able to pull off such a wonderful nod to The Shining with this movie, but also keeping it very much his own film.
Yeah,
You know?
and I think that's probably as good a place to start as any. But I'll do the quick synopsis, sure though. So this is obviously, sequel to The Shining. It follows Danny Torrance a lot of years later. But yeah, he has an adult. Essentially, he's fighting psychic vampires while trying to be a mentor to another talented psychic job.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Yeah. That's basically the gist of it. But yeah, the really cool thing that I like about this movie is it works as a sequel to both The Shining, the movie,
Yeah.
and The Shining, Stephen King's book.
Totally.
He found like a way
Well,
to kind of bridge the gap.
yeah, man, and he did it so well. And so I haven't read the book, but I know it's different. I haven't read either book, I guess, The Shining or Doctor Sleep. But I know that there's a difference between the movie and the book. But you can see in this film that he's done such a good job of taking those supernatural elements, which I talked about in The Shining, that you could remove those and still have a great movie. He's done such a good job of blending both Kubrick's idea of it being this standalone story, as well as incorporating the very obvious supernatural tendencies that King has. And he melded them together just so well, where the first time I watched it, I don't think I loved it that much. But upon more viewings, again, it's grown on me because now I can see those subtext a little bit where he is nodding to both.
I really liked it the first time I saw it, but yeah, it's only improved in my estimation over...
Sure.
Yeah, because you notice, once you've kind of processed the story, you start to notice all the layers, particularly with addiction in the movie, and how Danny's fighting against addiction, and the true knot are essentially the worst addict you've ever seen.
So that's exactly what my experience was as well. The first time I watched it as a... And much like The Shining, the first time I watched these movies both, I watched a horror movie, and I didn't think much of it. I watched what was given to me. It was upon more viewings that, like you said, once you kind of get some of that out of the way and you can watch the film for, some of the things that are maybe behind the forefront, you exactly like you said, in this film, I always kind of criticized it as it dropped a lot of those addictions, subplots, I suppose. But after watching it a couple more times, they're in there.
No, they're really in. Yeah, the addiction is huge.
And it's not like it was subtle, and it's not like I missed it the first time through, but you're so entranced by the vampires and all the spooky horror shit that's happening that you sort of miss it a little bit, or it takes a back seat. But when you watch it a couple more times, it's not really in the back seat. It's in the forefront, and it's strong, and it plays hard into Jack Torrance from The Shining.
Yeah, I think it's a really good sequel. I mean, because it follows Flanagan and King's both had the same experience where they're both very, very bad addicts. And King partly was writing The Shining about his own father, but also partly writing it about himself. And then Mike Flanagan has been covering that story extensively. In Haunting of Hill House, he has the addict who's trying to do better.
Yeah.
In Midnight Mass, he has the addict who's trying to do better.
Yeah. All the lights, man.
So these are like very recurring themes for both of these artists. So it makes so much sense for them to meet and kind of meld, totally, because these guys have had this shared experience.
Well, it makes even more sense. Sorry, I keep jumping in here, Brady. I know you probably want to see something eventually, but it makes even more sense now that you've told me what you just did about Stephen King, how he not only had it in his father, but dealt with it himself. That's exactly what The Shining and Dr. Sleep are. That's that's a self-insert almost, right? Like that's his story that he's telling through these. Absolutely cool. I knew he struggled, but I didn't maybe know that was so related to these things. So
I was gonna say, if you haven't seen this movie and you've seen Trainspotting and like vampires, you love this movie.
You got your Ewan McGregor, you got your fucked up addicts doing horrible shit.
Yeah. I thought I was watching the wrong movie, bro. I was like,
such a throwback.
He's pretty far down the rabbit hole. But like that's probably the next natural place to go to. But before we get there, I just wanted to point out that also Mike Flanagan was able to convince Stephen King that they have to reference the movie, like the original movie,
like China.
King. King wanted when he gave Flanagan his blessing to do Dr. Sleep. Yeah, he wanted him to do it just as a
standalone,
just a sequel to the book.
Oh, okay.
Not a sequel to the movie.
Oh, okay.
And Mike Flanagan, rightly in my opinion, pointed out that The Shining is like a fucking cinematic establishment.
Yeah,
you can't get away from Like The Shining, the movie is way more famous than the book.
To make the sequel and not give nod to the film would be fucking asinine. Like,
and he was able to convince King eventually that was the way to go.
To just pretend that it didn't exist would be so awkward, like such a let's just close our eyes for a minute.
Right? They would just get to the Overlook and it would already be burned down.
Yeah.
All this, there's like soft, but they found these neat ways to kind of do both that I thought were so cool. Like, for instance, Dick Halloran doesn't get killed in Stephen King's book, but he gets killed in the movie.
Right.
So for him to be in the sequel, they have him talking to Danny as a ghost through The Shining.
Which is perfect.
Which is exactly.
And you wouldn't miss a beat.
Yeah, so you're still getting all the beats, all the beats exactly right. But he's like, we can just tinker with this, and this, and we get all the same beats, but without having to cause. And then, of course, the ending, him blowing up the Overlook.
Right, which is
how the original book ended, The Shining. Yeah, there's all these different little things like that.
And that's just Mike Flanagan, man. Like, the guy is good. If you haven't watched his TV show, specifically my favorite is Midnight Mass, put it on your list and get it done because it's so fucking good.
Life-changing.
Yeah, it is. You had said that he had to convince King. Why did King need convincing? I think he touched on The Shining, but he didn't love the movie, right?
Because King didn't like The Shining.
Yeah, he didn't.
He had a lot of criticisms of The Shining. Yeah. And he felt like it didn't do his book justice. He thought it did a very different thing from what his book was trying to do. They have similar themes.
Sure.
He was just, he just wasn't into. So yeah, Flanagan had to convince him that The Shining is like too big of a deal, man. That's a Kubrick movie, bro.
Yeah. It's as much a part of your world now, like to King, as your book is. Like that movie is.
It could be the biggest pop culture thing related to Stephen King ever.
Easily. Yeah.
I was actually, people know Stephen King from the movie The Shining. Because I don't think a lot of people have read the book.
Modern
The movie.
modern folks might say it because that was a pretty fucking big.
I mean, that was made for TV.
No, the new one. Oh, that was a huge. That was almost like a $1 billion movie. Then that was huge.
Which are fantastic movies also from King Books. The guy is good at horror.
Yeah. Whoa. Hot take.
Hot take. Stephen King.
Whoa.
Good at horror.
Throw some fire on that hot take. All right, but yes, we should get into the plot of this film.
Yeah.
So yeah, the movie starts with it kind of goes with Danny as a kid, dealing with sort of the aftermath and the trauma of the Overlook.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the many ghosts has followed him home.
Right.
Turns out eventually all of them will.
You meet most of the main characters.
But yeah, the first one you meet is Room 237 girl.
Yeah, you do. That's where things went down.
Yeah.
So a little time. Yeah, that's Kits McGee. Yeah, Tub Girl. Oh my god. That's where Tub Girl went down.
Yeah.
So again, to throw it back to the trauma, I mean, this kid is still a traumatized kid and still from whatever happened at 237 and still throws those link backs to just an abused child and an abusive household, right? And so even I thought right away that the mind boxes is such a clever way to teach a child to compartmentalize this. That's what you say partition, but yeah, exactly. Blah, you know what I'm saying. It's to put those dark things into a box. I don't know, right? I never considered that. And even if it's not like he's been taught that, which he has, because I think Dick Halloran shows him, right?
Yeah.
So even if he wasn't, that same process is reflected in many kids who don't know how to deal with the trauma. They block it away and stuff it down, right? So he's taking all his dark, bad thoughts, putting them in a box and forgetting about them, lost in the maze. Yeah, so cool shit, man.
Yeah, that's a trauma. I don't know, really interesting, Paul. Yeah. The first watch, I didn't realize the boxes were in the maze at the Overlook.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, oh, that is the Overlook.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
yeah, I think I imagine Danny's idea is that one, that the Overlook is where they belong, but two, even if they somehow got out of the boxes, they might not be able to get out of the maze, right?
Well, but also, I mean, those dark thoughts that he's putting in this place to lock away forever is the same maze where his father chased him down with a fucking axe. So he's putting all these dark thoughts into this place and just leaving them there, which he's probably very much doing with what his father tried to do with them.
Yeah, and that basically takes us to the next major plot point. After we've established that Danny learns how to deal with these ghosts in a much more proactive way, we cut to the adult Danny storyline where he is a bad addict. Boy, yeah, I didn't expect it to go as dark as it did.
No, and so I was just watching it again today, and I thought the same thing. I'm like, damn, man, it takes you on a quick trip down the shithole real fast.
Yeah, we catch up to Danny on like not when he's just started.
Yep.
We're catching up to him in like year 10 or 15 of this addiction. Like,
well, and
he's
long gone. And like catching up is a great choice of words to use because this is his shitty childhood catching up with him, right? He's now a guy who's dulling everything with whatever substance he can get his hands on, in this case alcohol, but after doing that cane, and fighting guys and fucking chicks and all this stuff, right? He's just everything.
They're quiet the voice.
Exactly. Anything that can dull his shine, as he says.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, I mean the first major thing we see about that is, and Dick kind of gives him shit for it.
Right, yeah.
Because Dick can still see what he's doing, and he tries to be his sort of like the little Jiminy Cricket on the shoulder.
Yeah, Dick's his good voice.
Yeah. So he hooks up with this, I was gonna say sex worker, but she's not.
No, she's not. She's just a girl.
She's just a girl who's into him and happens to also be an addict. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And is very turned on by the fact that he smashed that dude's hand with the pool.
Yeah.
I think he killed that guy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Also, that made me actually like burst out laughing because like this little way she like delivers the lines, like, "Whoa, I think you killed that guy." Scene later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me. I think she'd be the kind of girl who'd be writing Ted Bundy letters in reality.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like that also takes us to easily his lowest point in the film. I mean, he's gonna take money out of the chick's purse, grabs the baby, and sits a baby down next to this fucking coked out blacked out chick, right? And he's gonna take it off. Like that's
He at least left the shot. Jesus.
And rather than come back to it later as a plot point, we might as well address it now.
sure.
That her ghost eventually appears to him, and the ghost of her baby also, because she died that day.
Yeah.
And the baby, she says the neighbors were so used to him crying they didn't come to Jack.
Think about it.
So yeah, his decision caused not only the mom to OD and die, but also the baby to starve to death or die of dehydration.
Right. Yeah, and so his actions put those into place, right?
And I think, and that is the moment
Yeah.
that clicks with him, where he's like, I gotta start doing better in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
That is his rock bottom.
Yeah, for sure. I love that it took us on that journey, you know? And I mean, this movie, we'll get to it later, but I'll bring it up just quickly right now. But I mean, it doesn't pull punches on those dark things, to say the least. When they go into show you a child being murdered, they don't hold back on it. That scene is...
It's a really ballsy story. I haven't read Dr. Sleep, so I can't speak to how close this is to the book.
Mm-hmm.
I know King has never been afraid of hurting kids in his stories.
No, fuck, he seems to like it, actually.
Well,
It's his thing.
I think it's cool because not like, yay, kids, yay, here.
Yeah.
But I just love the fact that the number one thing I appreciate in a horror movie is nobody's safe.
Yes.
Yeah. And usually with kids in a movie, the kids are safe.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, the kids are safe.
Not many people want to show children being brutally murdered on screens, which is good, thank you. Yeah.
Well, I think if a child would see another child get murdered in a movie, they wouldn't get into horror. But seeing an adult.
Well, they're not. I don't think the movies where kids are being murdered, with the exception of maybe Sleepy Hollow, are ones that you'd want to watch with kids.
No, yeah, no, for sure not. It could be something that would be done to be egregious, I guess. You know, you could use it as something that is so cheap just to get that thrill and that shock. But I don't feel like they do it here.
Well, Brady's wearing the Terrifier shirt. And I was even
to say that.
Even Terrifier doesn't show it.
That's right.
It's implied. Obviously, you know what's happening, but it doesn't happen on screen. Same thing with Sleepy Hollow. Two very different movies, but they take the same approach.
Damien Leone even said, like, I refuse to show art murdering a child.
Yeah.
Just because how terrifying art is. Like, I'm going to leave that to the imagination. He kind of shows a little bit of the aftermath of the one child, but, like, the young child just, you don't know if she escaped. Everyone thought it was young Sienna, but that's for another episode.
Probably future episode, at least for one of the Terrifier.
One of us, yeah. Yeah, but anyway, the fact that they do it in almost tastefully, where it's just gruesome enough to make you feel gross, that's skill, man. That takes skill.
Ooh, yeah. That's a nasty kill when we get to it later. And that ties into the fact that we're talking about the addiction anyway. Because once you kind of process that the True Knot are just a bunch of addicts, and justifying their own actions.
Somehow sorry to interrupt, somehow I didn't get that.
I didn't get it the first time.
No,
it didn't occur to me at all.
Right, I was so just, they're vampires. And I just left.
They're vampires who eat psychic kids, whatever.
And that's what I mean when I say it's like, after watching it a few times, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, it's the former addict versus the worst addicts you've ever seen. Because, like, Danny's like bottom was the fact that he essentially caused the death of a child inadvertently. Sure, but like essentially he could have prevented the death of a child. The girl, I don't know if she would have died anyway. Who's to say, right? We don't know what's in her system or how much she had or whatever.
Yeah,
but the child, that's on him.
That's on him 100%.
And when you cut to the True Knot, killing children is just a matter of course for them. And they have no qualms about torturing children to death in order to get the best high out of them.
Right, and that's the part that's fucked up.
That's as dark. Like, no matter how many addicts you've talked to, you could talk to every single addict in the world. Nobody, I'd wager nobody has tortured multiple children to death to get their fix.
You're maybe looking too far because the movie blows it up, but if you take that conversation into the damage that an addictive parent can do to their child, it's just as much a form of torture. And it might not be actual torture. You can see that at least there's a parallel there of the vampires are the worst addicts you'll ever see, and they're torturing children to get their high. But certainly there are people out there in the low points of their life who are willing to put their children through forms of torture.
Yes.
In order, maybe not necessarily to get their high, but I'm certain there are cases where those actions would be to achieve, a high or to get them into the next step of getting.
All addicts are playing the same game, essentially. Yeah. They're convincing themselves. They're making up excuses in their heads, and they're convincing themselves, this is why what I'm doing is okay. I had a hard day. I deserve this, or like, this is the only joy I get in my day, or however, like whatever way you want, or I deserve to cut loose.
There's always a celebration to be had for one reason or another.
Yeah, there's no
justifying needs.
Yeah, people like, and I think we're all speaking to a certain extent from experience. I think we've all had our addiction struggles. In this room, and yeah, I think seeing that mirror is important. Because it helps you to understand. This, because everybody does the same thing. We don't need to get into a big PSA about it.
No, we don't. But you're right. Where art is, and not art to clown, art is what can give you that reflection back at yourself, to maybe see yourself in a light you haven't before. Anyway, and that's what these movies are doing. That's why they're so clever. Without, like you said, getting into a big public service announcement. I don't like that. Getting all, don't you drugs, bring it to us. But it's just so exactly. It's just so relevant to the movies. Is all.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, we should jump back into the plot.
Sure, the plot of this movie. Right, Mike. The vampires also say that when you're young, you shine brighter than when you're old. When you're old, you lose your shine, and that's why the shine is tastiest when you're young.
And that comes back to a common Stephen King trope that we mentioned last week, the magic little kid thing.
Yeah,
where you have your most magic when you're a kid, and then you get older, you forget, just like in It.
Yeah,
stuff like that, which is another common Stephen King trope.
That's one of the things. Yeah.
But the psychic vampires are called the True Knot.
Yeah.
They are led by, I don't remember the old guy's name, but he's from Gerald's Game.
I was gonna ask you guys that. I was gonna ask you guys, and he looked really familiar.
Mike Flanagan always does that. Yeah. He's always pulling people from previous projects and recycling them into new projects. He's got like his own little True Knot.
I think he's Flick. Right?
I can't recall.
They call him Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all have different nicknames. I know she's Rose the Hat.
Yeah.
We've got Snakebite Andy, who's important.
And then Crow. Yeah, Crow's also important.
And then I was just like Crow Daddy. Those are the three main ones that you need to know because they're the most important to the plot. The other ones are all there, and bury a chunk and this and that. Like I looked at all their names before.
There's a ton, because
the
books there's
for the most part they're not. They're mostly background characters, with the exception of those three.
Yeah.
But yeah, that actually, interestingly, the opening moment of the movie, I think, is them killing that little girl, right? Even before we meet Danny.
Yeah, that's how it opens. It opens and it shows a date. I can't remember what it is.
And interestingly, that little girl even is from Haunting of Hill House.
I noticed right away.
Violet McGraw.
Yeah.
And her name in the movie is Violet.
Yeah.
Which, because that's what she's holding up the flower. Yeah. Which is crazy.
I didn't realize. I've never seen that show. So.
Oh, Hill House is amazing, dude. Right. So Rose the Hat is played by Rebecca Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
And
good lord.
Body Ferrati.
I know we're three dudes in a room, and nobody needs to hear what we think of other women in the world, but good lord, this woman.
Okay, but this is an interesting conversation because I've noticed this with certain actors and characters. Rebecca Ferguson is a very attractive woman.
Oh, straight.
But I'm not, when I see her in other movies, I'm not as cranked up about her.
It's that Eric?
That's what I mean. And I noticed this back in the day with Natalie Portman because I watched Garden State and I was like, swoon.
Yeah.
And then I was seeing Natalie Portman in other movies and I'm like, yeah, she's still hot.
Yeah.
But I think I was in love with that character more than the actor itself.
Sure.
And I think in this case, like, I don't think anyone would want to date Rose the Hat.
I would.
Because
I want to. No, but you're right. She plays the character so just
somehow she's just
perfect. She sex appeal. I said that same. Yeah, that's awesome because it's just exactly what it is. She just
everything about her, even her catchphrase, Hi there.
That, yeah, well, hello there. Inez, just like, good lord, hello, lady. Yeah, man, she is something else. Body karate, as Brady said.
Yes, and she becomes the main antagonist of the film. But it's her. Crow Daddy is another psychic vampire who she's been with for a long time.
Yeah.
It's implied they've been lovers for hundreds of years. Who knows how long. It's implied that the oldest of them, the guy who we actually see die of old age in the movie, he's been around since Roman times.
Yeah.
She's talking him up when he's getting ready to pass away. So he's the oldest of them, and it's implied he's literally thousands of years old.
Yeah, centuries and centuries.
But yeah, her and Crow Daddy have been lovers for centuries, at least, it seems like.
Yeah, it seems like they've all been around for a couple, well, not all, but
With the exception of Andy.
yeah, the main crew have been around for hundreds and hundreds.
And then, of course, yeah, Snakebite Andy, who is bad. She's a bad motherfucker, man. Yeah, Andy is a previous episode alum from The Babysitter. That's her. She's the little blonde girl that's the
Really across the street?
Yeah. Oh shit. I clicked on the actress's name is Emily Allen Lind.
Okay.
And I was like, gosh, she looks familiar. And I clicked on her bio on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And turns out, yeah, she is the girl from The Babysitter.
Crazy. What years did The Babysitter come out?
2015, I think?
I think
Yeah, 4 years before this. That sounds right? Because she would have been like 12 or 13. And this movie, she's 17.
Okay. What year is this movie?
2019.
2019. Okay, yeah. Yeah, sure. I don't know. Babysitter came out sometime. McGee! Cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I feel like I recognized her from stuff, but didn't. But very cool. Yeah, she's getting her coffin fodder around.
I'll see how that sounds in
post.
you'll deal with that. Yeah, and we'll see how that in the post.
Yeah, but her little intro's pretty sick. Hey?
Snakebite Andy fucking rules. Like, despite the fact that she becomes like a child murdering maniac.
Yeah.
When you first meet Snakebite Andy, I'm like, this is the coolest chick ever.
Mhm.
All she does is go fuck with pedophiles and rob them.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful thing.
And mark them by cutting their cheeks. That's fucking sweet.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So as Kyle mentioned, she makes essentially a snake bite in their cheeks, hence the Snakebite Andy, and she also plants an idea in their heads that every time they see themselves in the mirror, they're going to remember that they love little girls. So,
Yeah.
little
Something like that.
It was essentially,
Specifically.
and yeah.
I guess it's worth mentioning that the vampires have The Shining. They're all psychic. So even I think that must be a prereq for getting in. They're only looking for the psychic people because Andy's not a vampire yet. It is Andy, right?
Yeah, Snakebite Andy.
So she's not a vampire yet, but she has psychic powers.
Yes, you need to have psychic powers to be in the gang.
Right. So they're not only is the gang seeking people with The Shining, it's also its members are comprised of people who also shine.
Yeah. So the idea is, like when her and Crow Daddy are going to look at her, the idea is they could choose to eat her, or they could choose to let her join.
Yeah.
And they choose to let her join.
Right, because she's got a power that's
Very, very useful power. Yes, Snakebite Andy's power is the ability to suggest things to people and have them. You call her. They even call her a switcher.
Yeah.
And that ties into the Dark Tower.
Okay, how?
The pusher guy.
I haven't read it.
It's not super important.
There's actually there's a ton of nods in this movie to Dark Tower, which is
As a wheel.
the TET transit system. The TETs it's a word they use in there, and Baseball Boy's number is 19.
Well, I didn't notice that, but
some cool.
I was gonna say, where's 19 in this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and because we're on the subject, it's worth mentioning that Mike Flanagan's next project is the Dark Tower for Amazon Prime.
That's gonna be dope.
Oh, yeah. I think it's meant to be a 4 to 8 season TV show.
You lose me at 8 seasons. Although that's a season a book, that'd be pretty fucking good.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Right, I'm sure he'll figure it out because I have pretty good faith in Mike Flanagan.
I have tons of faith in him. I have little faith in the broad audience and the networks to keep it alive.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, so now we should get back to Danny. Then the next stage in Danny's journey is him trying to get clean.
Yeah.
He meets a couple of people who kind of help him along. They sort of recognize the addict thing in him.
Yeah.
Could they have it too?
Exactly. These are actual, not vampire addicts. These are people who are part of an Alcoholics Anonymous or a drug rehabilitation. But yeah, any of the above. So he bumps into these people and eventually asks for help and gets involved in those things.
And one of them gets him a job.
Yes.
As a caretaker at a nursing home.
Yeah.
Which is very important because that's where you get the name Dr. Sleep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He sits with the dying and helps to sort of ease them into the journey into the afterlife.
Yeah. He uses a shining that comes.
Everyone keeps calling him Doc, which was his name as a child.
Right, and that's how he becomes Dr. Sleep. Yeah. So and that gives us, and that's sort of Danny's redemption arc.
Yeah, that's his flip from, he's now
Self-involved asshole.
Yeah.
To someone who's becoming selfless, right, willing to help.
Yeah, that's the big part, right? He's confronting his addiction and, like you said, becoming less self-involved. He's willing to sit with old dying people and use his abilities to help facilitate their passing into the whatever's after or whatever might not be after. And like you said, that's his redemption. That's him putting his skills or his experience to use in a much more beneficial way. Yeah.
And since we're talking about Danny's redemption arc, we might as well introduce Abra.
Yeah, I mean, she's been prevalent before this, but this is kind of where things...
This is where we need to talk.
Absolutely,
yeah. We get a couple of intros to Abra as a kid, and her parents' sort of spooky experiences, very similar to the experiences that Danny and Jack and what's the wife's name?
Winifred.
Very similar to the experiences that Jack and Wendy likely had with Danny. We see a few of them in The Shining. But yeah, Abra's like next level.
She's super powerful.
Yeah, like Danny was already the strongest Shiner that Dick had ever seen, he said. And Dick was quite an old man.
Dick's seen a few things.
Yeah, Dick got around. He's certainly seen the posters on his wall many times.
Right.
That much is clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then
Steeped in The Shining.
Abra is strong even by Danny's standards.
Right.
He is like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she's like 4 or 5 years old, and her parents walk in while she's got all the silverware
ended,
so floating in the air, and then they all drop down, and she goes, abracadabra.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like the best line of the movie, I think, because it's just, at first I was like, who names a kid Abra? Then she says abracadabra. I was like, that's fucking...
That's what I was wondering, as I wonder if this gets established in the book or not, but I was thinking maybe her name isn't Abra, and that's why that's the nickname that she got after that.
That would be a very King thing to do.
Yeah.
That's not her name. It's just what stuck.
Like her name would be Jill or whatever,
but
they call her Abra because of that.
Something like that.
Through the movie, before she knows what the Shine is, she keeps saying, "Oh, I've got magic powers. I've got magic."
Well, the magician condescends to her. That's like,
sweetheart.
Yeah. It's really this funny that he's like,
I love them. Right? Yeah. That's nice, sweetie.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I got a job to do here. Shut up now. He's like, I know it's your birthday, but you got to shut up so I can do my diet. It's pretty fun little character moment for this character's only in the movie for 8 seconds.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, they connect through the Shine and end up speaking through. There is a chalkboard in Danny's, the sort of the halfway house, for addicts.
Yeah.
Which is a real thing that I didn't know about when I first saw this movie, but I know that's a real thing now.
They have clean living rooms. They got plenty of them right here.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
There's not too far away from everywhere.
Yeah, fair enough. Clean living facility, sort of a halfway house.
Mm-hmm.
And the previous tenant had a chalkboard put on the right. So that is how they're communicating, is through the chalkboard. She is able to write on the chalkboard with her brain.
Yeah.
And then he answers her with his hand. Yeah, she writes on there.
He's like hiding, he's like hiding his ability.
Yeah, he's kind of keeping his head down, and that's what he says when he finally meets her in person.
Right.
She says, we got to do something about, because she's had visions of the first kid, which we might as well talk about. That's our other previous alum, Jacob Tremblay.
Jacob Tremblay, Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, Jacob Tremblay, as a child, is in this film. He is the baseball kid, and yikes!
Yeah.
That's 6. Is that a bad one?
This is the one we were talking about earlier where not only is it murdering a child on screen, they fucking torture this kid, and he's like, yes, and like with a scalpel or a sharp knife, I couldn't quite tell. It doesn't matter.
I think they use Snake by Andy's her little switchblade or whatever, that little curved switchblade.
Yeah, they're cutting. Yeah, they're cutting him, and then every time he screams, they're absorbing the steam. Yeah, it's horrendous.
Just being a parent and listening to a child scream in pain like that is not cool, man. No,
It's fucked. See, I don't have a son, so I imagine it was a lot more visceral for you. I have daughters.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of horrible things that can happen if either way.
Yeah, it's just a kid is enough.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking horrendous, and I noticed the detail. I can't recall if I noticed before, but you can tell it's been for hours because the sun's starting to come out.
Oh yeah.
When they pick him up, it's daylight.
It's dusk.
It's daylight.
Yeah.
It's not even dusk.
Faraday. Yeah, you're right.
He's walking home down the road, and it's like after school time.
Yeah, you're right.
And then they get him to the area, and then it's starting to become dusk, as you mentioned.
Right, yeah.
And then it's the sun is coming up. So he's been there for like 4 hours.
Pain purifies the steam.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hey, it's painted fear. Yeah,
Purified.
they make fear makes the steam taste good. Fear makes it last longer.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why they torture and
That's what I mean. They're the worst addicts you've ever seen. Yeah. Willing to do anything for the high. Yes. So she has witnessed. That's why she's come to Denny. Essentially. She has witnessed in her head.
Yeah.
She saw the murder of that child.
Well, because Baseball Boy had The Shining, right? And so as he's being tortured and killed, he's broadcasting.
And she's close enough that she
Picks it up. Yeah.
It's actually
She's
kind
not
of
close. She's just that powerful.
Right.
Rose mentions that. Yeah.
But they also mentioned that ties into how Dick explained it in The Shining.
That's right.
That he's like you're like a radio antenna. You pick up signals.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's like a state away, I think, or something.
This is something like 1,500 miles.
Yeah, it's the Bento.
it was approximate like 1,500. Yeah, because I couldn't figure out where she was. But
Right.
she's like
Because they were trying to look for her in that sort of trajectory.
Yeah.
And turns out she's way further away.
I felt.
Yeah.
Because she's so powerful.
Right. So that's why she's been coming. That's why she's coming to him. I believe they'd already connected before she saw that. But that's why she wants to come meet with him.
yeah. They started with the chalkboard where it was just a hello.
That's what I mean.
And stuff, and then eventually, when Baseball Boy gets murdered, it says red rum, and Danny looks in the mirror and it says murdered. It's red rum.
Right. That was like the big moment in the trailer I remember back in the day. Is you see the room shift and him slide down to the bottom and the chalkboard crack.
Yeah.
And then he looks in the mirror and it says murdered.
Yeah. Super little cool rollback.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's the kickoff point. I think that pretty much takes us to like the halfway point of the movie.
It's just to where things really start to take off. Yeah. It's where after those moments now the hunt is on, but the hunt is not maybe just the vampires searching for Abra. Now Danny's involved and they're trying to look back the other way and stop these vampires.
Right.
Yeah.
And the way they start to track Abra, I believe, is that she is looking for them, and then she connects with Rose the Hat in a grocery store.
Yes. Yeah. She can feel her essence or presence or something, and sees her in the freezer door, reflection in the freezer door.
Yeah.
And then gets her ass blown. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she gets blown across the fucking room by Abra. And then that's where the hunt starts for her, because she goes back and tells the others about her.
Right.
And says, like, this would be like, if we feed on her,
We're good.
we're set for like a long time.
I think, is it Crow Daddy says like something like there is a presence I can feel. Something it feels like someone's watching us, but I can't figure out where they're from because he's like the tracker.
Yeah.
And he still doesn't know where it is. And then when Rose finds out at the supermarket that there's a little girl, and that's what they start the hunts after her.
So we mentioned that Danny had met fellow addict. One of the other one actually is played by the guy from Gerald's Game.
I noticed. Yeah, I noticed.
So yes, but Billy Freeman is the more important one, and he is Danny's becomes sort of like his best friend, and he's a sponsor. Yeah, he's a sponsor. Yeah, which essentially can be a best friend to an Earth for sure. But yeah, that is important because he doesn't want to involve Abra in the hunt for them. Once they figure out, or he involves her as much as he needs to. They use her as bait.
Exactly, yeah.
So she projects herself into the woods.
Right.
And they come to get her. And then Danny and Billy fucking blow
overseas and all that fuckers. Such a great little part.
Early on, Billy also says to Danny that I used to be a hunter and like a deer hunter, and I seen a deer that I shot just laying in the field that I thought just disappeared out of nowhere, and that smell just made me not ever want to hunt again. And then when they go to fight the vampires,
true
or not. That's actually not the moment, but it is the same. It's the same. I get that's the monologue, but what he says is he says that at the scene of where they find the kid's body.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, the smell.
It's essentially saying before they'd even discovered it, they knew there was a dead body under there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, which they then find as Baseball Boy, and so then events spur.
Oh, and the detail of them both throwing up.
Yeah,
and then realizing because they're like they didn't even bury him deep.
No,
they're like he's like 1 foot down.
Like just disrespected, right?
Yeah, it's really nasty and really shows their lack of respect even for like a child.
It's just food.
Yeah,
exactly. They're chucking away the crust to your sandwich or something.
Really? Well, when Grandpa dies, as soon as he starts dying, they start like inhaling his soul.
Nice. That might be the most disturbing scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Because they're all like paying their respects and saying goodbye, and then as soon as he dies, they're all just like
goodbye to their best friend, and then they're just sucking back his soul. Going
oh no, my dealer died. I'm gonna steal all his drugs.
It's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Oh. But it's worse because they're like absorbing his essence. They're like, they're their friend. We love you. Thank you for all you've done. And then there's like,
then he can live on in his friends.
Yeah, it's some fucking. What's that movie? It's some fucking alive shit, man.
Yeah.
But like, but Ross desperation. But not desperate. They're not desperate.
No,
they're just like
they just want it. We don't want to waste it. Go suck it back.
Ugh.
I also, I love how when you see him slowly dying, he's kind of transforming back to his original.
And that's a recurring thing. Yeah, we see throughout the film, particularly with Crow Daddy, who gets it later. How does he die again?
He doesn't have to wait, so yeah, that's a wait.
Okay,
because that's important. So we've already kind of jumped into the forest, seeing where they're open season hunting out the vampires, right? And it's here that Andy gets Snake Boy Andy gets the last laugh by using her power to have Billy kill himself.
Well, but before that, she's got control over Danny.
Put Danny to sleep, yeah. And it was Billy that saved the day, coming around the corner, getting a shot off on her. Not enough to kill her, but saved Danny. Unfortunately, Andy was still alive and convinced Billy to kill himself. But
which is a brutal moment.
Which is nasty. Yeah, because it felt victorious.
The kill yourself.
Right.
It's so brutal.
And then it feels like it's a win for the good guys for about half a second, because then you flash and Crawdaddy had mentioned that he has tricks up his sleeve, and this is his big trick, was that he wasn't there. And Abra notices that, right? Where's Crawdaddy? I don't see the crow. It's Crawdaddy. It's Crawdaddy? Yeah, okay, right. So anyway, notices that he's not there, but he had gone and found her in her house and ends up killing her parents and kidnapping
her dad. She is their dad.
Yeah,
because I think the mom went on a business trip or something.
And that's one of those great things that I always kind of enjoy when they do in movies, if they do it well, is the death off screen. Because
yeah, like for the dad, you mean
the dad approaches with the knife, and he just sort of says like, I can't remember exactly what the line is.
Isn't that you always think you can kill a god or something?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it was. He's like, you humans, you always think you can kill a god.
Yeah, or I feel that amusing when you think you could kill a god.
Yeah. And then we just see him carrying Abra out, and it cuts to the corpse.
Right.
Which I've always like when it's done right.
Yeah.
When it's done right, I always like that. Sometimes it feels like a cheap cop-out.
It can.
But in that case, it worked because
it's a mic drop moment.
Yeah, so that takes us to the point where we've got Crow Daddy, Rose the Hat, Abra, and Danny. Those are our characters. Whatever I mean, no one yeah. And okay, so tell me before we get on track here, how the fuck does Crow Daddy?
So Crow Daddy's driving away with Abra,
Yeah,
and this is where Danny flexes his big psychic powers. He inhabits Abra and uses his power to control a little bit of Crow Daddy, enough to get him jerked the wheel. And his speech is, I can tell that the thing that comes with so much power is arrogance, because you're not wearing your seatbelt. And so he makes Crow Daddy drive into a fucking tree, and Crow Daddy flies through the shield.
and because now that you draw me memory, Crow Daddy has been drugging Abra, so she can't use her power.
Right, so she's drugged, but
Danny can use her body. Yeah. He takes control of her body and her mind to project, and then uses it. Yeah, sort of like astral projection.
Absolutely, that's featured pretty heavily in this. Their astral projection ideas. Yeah,
actually, because you said that, man, the Rose the Hat floating through the sky, like a lesser director, that scene would be so. She was laying down. It would be so cheesy.
Yet it became maybe one of the most memorable scenes of the movie. It's
awesome. Yeah. And her floating through the sky with the stars. It's also
ominous and menacing and just cool.
It was a really big supervillain, like big vibes. Shot, like I'm looking over to try to see who's all shining. I can see every shining person.
Yeah. That is awesome. Like I remember I had forgotten that scene. Mm-hmm. And when I saw it this week, I'm like, God damn, so good. So many lesser directors, this scene would be so cool. It would have blown.
Yeah, it would have looked.
But Flanagan just nails it.
Well, and even it's a little off topic from the actual storyline, but it's worth mentioning because I really liked the way he shot Abra viewing out her astral projection scene with her room twisting and her floating in her room. And again, that could have looked really stupid had it been done wrong, but instead you get this really cool scene of her looking both up but hanging from her window to view out. It's just a really cool shot.
Yeah, you can tell that they use a practical, like a spinning room like they did in Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, if it was just all digital and you could tell it,
practical's the way to go, man.
And most of the stuff in this movie is practical, except for I think there's vampire is transforming back to their ring.
I love the little blue flickering eyes too. That's such a cool touch.
It's his Midnight Mass thing. Oh, I just love it. It's so fucking spooky, especially in Midnight Mass, but that's a different show.
A director that can make nods to other stuff that they've done without making it really obvious to the audience that haven't seen their stuff. Like I haven't seen a lot of his other project, but it's like
he plugs himself without making it feel like he's jerking himself.
Sort of like, I was gonna say sort of like Tarantino, but Tarantino kind of feels like he's
there's a lot of feet, not like Tarantino. Yeah, the opposite of, if even.
Yeah, slight references. Maybe even you could say like King. King can be a little egregious with it,
sure,
but he also hides a lot of very subtle nods in his books.
The way he's
that you wouldn't pick up on if you hadn't read the book. He's Ramdix at all.
He does it quietly enough to where it doesn't feel like he's just jerking off right into your face. He makes in the same room, but
he's behind you.
You can hear him through the wall,
right?
But at least he closed the door
and he cleans up his study. Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy. That takes us to the finale of the movie because Rose the Hat is dead set on revenge because now these people have essentially
they killed all her friends.
Yeah, I gotta let. So we get to at this point. Yes, Rose the Hat is after them, and she powers herself up by they've been sort of saving all those supplies. Yeah, she all the sort of reserves to keep feeding themselves, like sort of the little attic stash. Mm-hmm. And then she just
takes it all
because she's on the fucking war.
She's angry, her family's dead, and she's got to take on Danny and Abra.
The one hoots her
with the true knot, watching the true knot go is bad enough for her.
Yeah.
But it's when when they get Crow Daddy, that's when she really fucking goes ballistic.
Can't take her Crow Daddy away.
No. So that's that, and that leads sort of Danny and Abra on this desperate plan to go to the Overlook because they think it will kind of, if it's as dangerous to her as it is to them, is essentially how Danny explains it.
Right. If it'll feed on them because of their level of shining, it's just as likely to feed on her because of hers. So,
And-
it's not necessarily, it's very much a neutral ground.
Yeah, and I think Danny thinks probably because at least he's been there before and he knows what this place is, that maybe they've got like sort of a one-up.
Yeah, I would assume so. Also, just thematically, it's cool to go back to the Overlook.
You gotta find a way. Yeah, you
Absolutely. It was happening no matter what.
you gotta find a way to get to that Overlook when we're young.
Mountains, yeah.
Originally, I thought this movie would be more in the Overlook.
So when
I'd first seen the trailer,
Yeah, so did I.
but like I like that it just left it till the very end.
It's a cool way to set things up.
And I think it's cool because they keep referencing it throughout.
Right, and
So that sort of becomes like and as you said, it's never egregious. It never like
it builds the
hey, remember The Shining?
right. We all fucking remember it, but it builds that ominous sense of, oh my god, they're going back.
Oh, it's the Overlook. It's crazy. See, normally I balk at this. Oh, it's a pet peeve of mine. People say like, you know, the car is like a character, or the place is like a character, and I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. It is a car.
It's an analogy.
It is a house.
Yeah.
But in this case, I think it's justified because the Overlook has a presence to it. I still wouldn't call it a character.
No.
But if someone used that reference here, I'd be like, okay, I'll let it go this time.
Not a character, but it has character.
It has a presence to it. It has this ominous.
Absolutely.
It's evil.
Yes.
It is.
And you feel it, even though it never speaks, even though it never acts directly, you feel that.
Well, and like to throw it back to The Shining, I mean, that's part of what made that movie so terrifying was that it just went with presence and feel to instill that sense of horror.
Yes.
The Overlook itself is terrifying. And so they very much tap right back into that just by even talking about it throughout the film without being there, just creating
They're referencing all the ghosts.
Yeah, like just that sense of dread of going back to this horrible place. But also it ties back into the trauma aspect again, where we're going back to not necessarily the beginning, but the biggest, darkest moment of Danny's shitty childhood.
Great, and we need to briefly touch on how fucking good these actors are
Yeah.
who re-inhabit these
I
characters.
was going to bring it up.
Because Jack Nicholson obviously isn't going to play himself.
No.
He's way too old.
Yeah.
Shelley Duvall has no, she was still around. She was retired at that time. The Dick Halloran actor, Scatman Crothers, he was long dead. So these are the main characters who we're seeing come back in this movie. And the actors, I think the one who it's hard to say which one impresses me the most, but I think it might be Wendy, the Wendy actor.
Oh, okay.
Because she nails
So the
sort of shrill, I mean, they all do it,
all nail it.
but hers is so, I'm like, holy fuck, I could just cover my eyes and it's Shelley Duvall.
The voice. Yeah.
The way she
spoke
the
to
voice
Danny.
and the way she speaks to him.
Yes, the way she moves around too.
Yep.
Everything.
There's nothing wrong about like when I seen that I was like, they superimposed characters in this movie, and there's other actors. So that it seems so cool.
Like again, that's Flanagan. He's that fucking good.
I was very impressed by the guy, and I can't remember. I looked up his name and I can't remember it, but the guy that did Dick Halloran in this movie did such a good fucking job.
All three of them are.
And then like you'll know the actor's name. I like the actor, and he's been in all of
Henry Thomas.
Okay, right. He, even though it's a very small scene and it almost boils down to just the eyebrow raise, he kills it portraying Jack Nicholson. Jack Torrance.
And he won't admit that he's Jack Torrance.
Right, which is better.
Again, tying into the addiction metaphor there, where he's like, I don't know what you mean. I'm just the bartender.
Yeah. I'm just a normal guy.
I'm just this bartender. Oh my god. And he's the only ghost left because Danny's taken the rest of
Built them all away except for
Jeffrey,
his father, man.
which almost implies that Jack was too ashamed to come after him.
No, I think more so it would be that Danny was too scared to maybe go after that.
See, but he was only confronting the ghosts as they came for him.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think if Jack had come for him, he would have confronted that sooner.
Yeah.
But I think that's maybe sort of a nod to Jack's, probably something that King would have liked that he included, because he said he wanted Jack to be more of a relatable character, less of like a supervillain.
Yeah.
My thought process was that since Danny became an alcoholic just like his father, or an addict, minus the abuse thing, that maybe Jack didn't want to go after him because like he didn't want to make him go down a darker.
That's what I mean. That's the guilt. Like, I thought maybe the guilt, like the last out of Jack, makes him not want to go after Danny like all the other ghosts did.
I like that. Yeah, that works.
Right. But yeah, that we might as well get right to the finale of the movie now. So yeah, Rose follows them to the Overlook.
Right.
And Danny is I love Danny standing on the stairs with the axe.
It's so fucking perfect.
Oh my god, he's become Jack,
Yeah.
but he's like the Jack
But the
who
flip side.
beat. Yeah, he's the Jack who beat his addiction.
Well, and they talk about it when he's at one of the meetings where he's holding up his, I forget, I think it's 8 years, 7 years.
My dad once to Israel.
Yeah, my dad once stood here with the 5 months chip wishing he could get here, and now I'm here to finish it for him, right? And it's, we talked about breaking the cycles in the past, but that's a big character arc for Danny in this. So it starts with with confronting his addiction, and it ends with literally just being on the better side of things. Rather than being the guy chasing his wife up the stairs, he's protecting a child. Like,
Right.
perfect.
So there's two broad beats we need to cover at the end here. The first is the first of our two broad strokes we need to touch. Rose gets the best of him. Rose gets the best of Danny.
Yeah.
And she goes into his mind before she's about to kill him. And she says, "What are you hiding in there?"
Yeah.
And this is hands down my favorite moment in the movie. Oh, it's beautiful. Every time I watch this movie, that line, she says, "There's something special in there."
Yeah.
They're not special. They're starving.
Right. Yeah.
And then he opens all the boxes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck yeah.
that is one of my favorite horror moments ever, I think.
It's such a cool final standoff.
And him just being like, "Oh well, she's gonna kill me anyway. Might as well let all the fucking love."
Yeah.
And then yeah, of course they turn on him, and that's
Yeah.
the other broad stroke, which takes us back to his connection with Jack.
Right.
And now he's been possessed by that same darkness that Jack was possessed by. And now he's the one chasing her through the Overlook, the axe.
Yeah, right.
Which is everything, of course, has come completely wholesale.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys want to touch on with that before we just wrap it up?
I was gonna say when you first see Abra in the maze with Rose, when like Rose is like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you," and she just like keeps like disappearing and cutting her with snake bites.
Right.
Wow. Snake bite tool.
Yep.
I thought that was a really cool scene.
Yeah, it is.
And that's all I wanted is
I think there's some kind of weird editing there where it makes it kind of hard to,
It's a little hard to follow, but
like, it makes it hard to believe, but I guess it's supposed to be happening in their minds anyways. So who gives a shit?
Did they say whose mind they're in?
it's Danny's.
Is Danny's?
And sorry, to go way back, but man, when her hand gets mangled,
I wanted to bring that up too. It's just fucking awesome.
you know, it's important that we say that because Gerald's game, second time,
Oh, ripping the hand through the
second time we're seeing the skin ripped off of
Yeah.
someone's hand in the Mike Flanagan movie. Hell yeah. Danny's after Abra, and then he manages to, again, and I think this is to tie into the overall theme of addiction in the movie. He manages to regain composure enough.
Yeah.
Because, and this is set up when he first gets there. You see him go down to the furnace, and he's like, "I'm gonna wake it up."
Absolutely.
So you don't know what he's doing with the furnace.
Yeah, he's fucking.
But what he's doing is he's letting all the gas out, essentially. He's basically fucking the place. In case, he's basically
setting up like a self-destruct.
Yeah, he's
where
he's betting against himself. He's like, even if this place takes me, this place is gonna
done
die.
for.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that sort of ties into the end of the original King novel, where yes, Jack Torrance runs to try and save the Overlook, and then blows up. But in this movie, it's Danny doing it.
Yep.
So, and yeah, that's essentially the end of the movie. Danny's dead, Rose is dead, everybody's dead except for Abra.
And she goes back and finds Amons, I believe.
Yeah, it's the end. I did like that Abra sees Uncle Dan as her Dick Halloran.
It's so perfect.
Yeah,
it's so perfect.
Yeah.
Because it completes his arc
Absolutely.
because like Dick is his mentor, and Dick talks about his own struggles.
Yep.
And we have Jack's struggles and how those affect Danny, and then we see Danny kind of not like, because we mentioned before his sort of change from becoming super self-involved and super like selfish and kind of a fucked up bad person.
Yep.
To now he's changed so much that he's willing to help someone from beyond the grave.
Exactly. Yeah. He's confronted all of his darkness and he's turned it around into a different way. And instead of, succumbing to it, he's going to use that and help people with it. And I think that's a beautiful way to end such a wonderful series of events. The Overlook special,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Great.
What a doozy.
Great fucking movie. Which one do you guys try to bounce it to? Does it matter?
I can go. I feel like I've said so much that I don't really need to say
More during an anecdote, if anything.
Yeah. I don't have a lot more to add, I don't think, at this point, other than just, these movies are fucking massive, and I will likely watch them back to back again in the near future. The Shining is going to move up to be one of my favorites of all time, for sure, like top 3. Dr. Sleep, definitely a weaker film, but that's not saying much. Weaker compared to The Shining, but still a fucking incredible movie. So I'm happy I got to watch them again, and what a blast it was.
I will agree with you. It was a great time. I wouldn't say fun time. It was a great time. But it didn't hold a candle.
Doesn't make you feel good. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like I watched.
We're not here to feel good on this.
Oh no, we're past that. Yeah.
I think we call happy fodder.
As Trent Reznor once said, "Wrong fucking band. You're here to have a bet."
That's right. Yeah. How about you, Mike?
Well, I mean, I agree with your guys' general sentiment. Essentially, I think that Dr. Sleep is a 5 out of 5 movie for me.
Mhm.
I just think it's a different level of 5 out of 5.
For sure.
Like The Shining is like legendary level 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Whereas Dr. Sleep is just like one of the best movies, or maybe the best movie of the year it came out.
For sure. Like, it's a super strong movie. It's just, but you can't put it on the same level as The Shining.
You're standing in the shadow of a giant, essentially.
That's it. That's its only weakness. It's just that it follows The Shining.
But my God, I remember how skeptical I was when I was like,
Oh yeah.
a sequel to The Shining.
Yeah. Like, fuck off. Leave it alone.
Oh yeah, that's how I felt, and that's how I felt usually when they talk about this. And this is like the super 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 rare case where a legacy sequel doesn't. I felt like it lived up at the very least to the legend of The Shining. I don't think it's as good as The Shining,
No.
but it's good enough that you don't feel disappointed about it.
Right. Part of me wonders how, 40 years down the road, how people will look back at Dr. Sleep. 40 years further on, and how we look back at The Shining. And like we've talked about, it wasn't super well received when it came out. Was it panned or just not well received?
Kubrick's The Shining was basically panned, and it was a box office disaster.
Right. Okay. So Dr. Sleep, on the other hand, wasn't. I think it did quite well.
It kind of just made its budget back. It's still kind of falling with the box office, but
That's honestly
at least at the very least it was a well-respected, well-liked movie.
Honestly, that's kind of what I would expect from a movie like this. But I'm curious to see how people will talk about this dynamic duo in the future.
I think that's a good point, because I think Flanagan's still got a lot of years left in him.
100%.
And I think he may, I don't know, it's maybe a bit much to say one day he will be on the same level as Kubrick. But it's possible.
It's possible.
Certainly possible.
It's possible. But, like any good wine, it'll age.
The only thing I was gonna critique is see too many Force Ghosts and Ewan McGregor. That's a good cut. That's a good one.
That wraps us up for our fancy Overlook special, our 25th episode and 26th episode spectacular.
Damn.
But we have a special surprise for you that continues with next week. It's not an Overlook surprise. It's an Underlook surprise. Maybe a place that would take us underground to a place like hell, possibly? Hell, yes. So next episode, we're going to have our very first guest. And we're going to be talking about Clive Barker's legendary horror film, Hellraiser.
Sweet.
Angels to some, demons to others. Yes, that's as close as I can get to the Doug's Bradley voice.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
But we will see you in 7 days. And until then,
Keep your eyes open.
and we're out.